Before we jump into today's show, I was looking at the YouTube analytics, and I saw that in May of last year, we picked up 865 subscribers. In this May, we picked up 947. The month is not quite over just yet. Can we sneak in 1,000 subscriber month this year? Hit that sub button down below if you have not already, and help us reach 1,000 subscribers for May 2023. Today's Cleveland Browns report is sponsored by Hexclad. They've got the best pans and kitchenware on the market. Plus, you can get 10% off when you use our exclusive link. You can get this your own very own awesome pan when you go to hexclad.com/chat and use promo code chat to get 10% off. More about them later on in today's show. And we have some more DeAndre Hopkins buzz to attend to. I know we're about to hit that point where it gets a bit tiresome and we all get a little bit bored of talking about DeAndre Hopkins. But when Adam Schefter hops on his podcast and he includes the Browns as one of 4 teams in on the mix for D-Hop, there's no way we're not going to talk about that on the show today. So the 4 teams he identified as the 4 leading horses to land D-Hop: the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cleveland Browns, and the New England Patriots. Now, all 4 make some sense in my book, right? I can see why all 4 of these teams would have interest in DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I've got some opinions on those 4 teams. The Bills don't have a lot of money to spend. In fact, they have the second fewest amount of cap space, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs, both of them just sitting north of $1 million. Now, the Browns have a pretty tempting offer for DeAndre Hopkins. You're on the wrong side of 30. You're still looking for a ring. You had a great connection with Deshaun Watson. We've got a loaded roster in Cleveland. If you really want to go on a Super Bowl run, no doubt you can do that in Buffalo and Kansas City. But we're not very far behind. And if those teams don't have the money that we can offer you, maybe money talks that he can talk himself into the Browns being just as competitive to win the Super Bowl as the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Then there is producer Rolly's New England Patriots. He's not going to New England, Rolly. They've got Bill O'Brien. He's smirking right now, but he knows that DeAndre Hopkins does not want to reunite with Bill O'Brien, who traded him to Arizona for a couple late picks and David Johnson, one of the all-time fleeces in NFL history. So you can sort of carve a path for the Browns, looking pretty good to land DeAndre Hopkins. If the Bills and Chiefs don't want to pony up and spend money, and the Browns, who've got the second most, I believe, behind the Patriots, but if Bill O'Brien is too big of a hurdle for D-Hop to get over, all of a sudden Cleveland might be the best option. So let's remove the fans' interest from this for a moment, right? I know that everyone watching has a really strong opinion, or, some sort of opinion at the very least, about landing or not landing DeAndre Hopkins. Let's attack this through 2 different ways, right? First one being, are the Browns interested in DeAndre Hopkins? And is DeAndre Hopkins interested in the Browns? Because when it comes to free agency, you need both sides to have some interest. Now, let's start with the latter. Here's what Schefter also mentioned on his podcast. There is the Cleveland Browns. He worked with Deshaun Watson in the past, and I am sure Watson wants to work with him again. The Browns certainly could use another wide receiver to complement Amari Cooper, although Donovan Peoples-Jones came on, and they do have some other young wide receiving talent. But Cleveland would make some sense. But again, does DeAndre Hopkins want to go there? Now, when you look at D-Hop and Watson, their career stats together, when they overlapped in Houston, Watson, of course, got hurt the first season in 2017, but after that, 2018 and 2019, those two were 1,000-plus yard receiving connections, 2 straight seasons, 18 touchdowns over that stretch. In their career, 25 touchdowns, 3,200 yards together between Hopkins and Watson. So you can see why DeAndre Hopkins would be interested in recreating some of that magic as he approaches 30 years old, and it's a bit tougher to do that. Now, we got some more updates on this side to get to in just a moment. But first, I want to tell everyone about today's sponsor, Hexclad. So, guys, if you are tired of, seeing dirty dishes, dirty dog bowls in your sink, and you want to graduate a little bit from takeout, Hexclad is the way to go. Today's sponsor, Hexclad, has revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all the convenience and cleanup of nonstick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, along with a lifetime warranty just in case you somehow find a way to destroy them. Now, when you use the promo code CHAT at hexclad.com/chat, they're going to give you guys 10% off. Now, Hexclad for me checks every single box when it comes to cookware, right? They're metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees. I've got a nice cast iron at home. I had one until my girlfriend didn't know that you can't put them in the dishwasher and essentially ruined it. But hey, with Hexclad, that is not a concern. Now, don't just take my word for it. My favorite chef, Gordon Ramsay, loves Hexclad. Here's what he said. The sear I get with these pans is incredible, with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection, and the cleanup is effortless. I love using Hexclad at home. I love what he said there about the cleanup being effortless. When I was out with the wisdom teeth removal last week, my girlfriend gave a chance at cooking, completely scorched earth our pan and covered it black to bottom with burnt wontons, which I didn't even know could do that. But with Hexclad, that would never be a concern. So Real Cuisine is not made in the microwave. It's cooked in a Hexclad. For a limited time, you can get 10% off with our special link. That is hexclad.com/chat. 10% off at hexclad.com. Promo code chat. All the information you need is in the comments and the description of today's video to get your own very awesome pan. Plus, it comes in a really cool travel case. So if you're ever going on a camping trip or going on the road somewhere and you don't want to leave without your favorite dishes, this is a great way to do that. Getting back to DeAndre Hopkins, Cleveland may not be Hopkins' top choice, right? I think we can all agree that if he wants to win a Super Bowl, it's really tough for me to stand up here and say the Browns are more likely to win a Super Bowl than Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes this season. I think the Browns are definitely going to surprise a lot of people. They're going to make the postseason, and I think they have a very good chance of winning some postseason games. But if Kansas City, who has never been huge spenders in free agency historically, and Buffalo, who's got just over $1 million in cap space, back out because it just doesn't make sense for them financially, Cleveland might be the very next best option for him. So will the Browns end up signing DeAndre Hopkins? This is the poll question today. I'm curious, if you had to stake your reputation on it, put it all on the line, do you think they get it done? Not do you want to see it get done, but will it ultimately get done? Let me know what your thoughts are with a simple Y for yes or N for no in the comments section. Now, the second phase of this conversation is, do the Browns have interest in DeAndre Hopkins, right? We just kind of outlined a path where if Kansas City and Buffalo don't want to pay him over $15 million, which is what OBJ got, and Cleveland's the only team calling, would D-Hop be interested in coming to Northeast Ohio? The Browns have a really good receiving room as it stands right now. They added Elijah Moore this offseason. I think someone who could push for 1,000 yards. DPJ is quietly coming off an 839-yard season. I bet if you polled even your above-average NFL fan and said, hey, how many yards did DPJ have last year? A good chunk of them are going to go, I don't know, like 500-600? No, he wasn't very far off from 1,000, and Amari Cooper had one of the best statistical seasons of his career. So my gut tells me Andrew Berry likes this wide receiver room a lot. He's done a lot to it. He has turned it around. He's added speed through free agency, through the draft, and via trade. But after the Zadarius Smith trade, didn't that tell us that Andrew Berry is always looking for ways to improve, and he's not going to settle, right? I thought the starting defensive ends would be Myles Garrett and Okoronkwo, right? That's what we all assumed. But then Andrew Berry saw an opportunity to no doubt upgrade. And there's no doubt that DeAndre Hopkins is an upgrade over Elijah Moore and DPJ for 2023. Maybe not past 2023, but the Browns are all in for 2023. So if that's the mindset, don't you think DeAndre Hopkins would fall in line? Now, when you look at the stats from last season between Amari Cooper and DeAndre Hopkins, if they were to be the wide receiver duo in Cleveland, they would have to compete with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and that is a wide receiver duo that can definitely go pretty much toe-to-toe with two of the best wide receivers in the league that both happen to be in Cincinnati. The AFC North is going to be such a gauntlet this year. Maybe it's time to really throw caution to the wind and go, screw it. We're already all in, right? We might as well, we're already waist deep in this. Let's go all the way in. Let's not even slow down or park the brakes or even think, what about 2024 and beyond? Like, if you want to win a Super Bowl this year, those chances improve with DeAndre Hopkins. That I'm not going to argue. Is it best for the team long term? That is sort of the hang-up I run into. Now, Watson definitely wants to see D-Hop come to Cleveland. This is what he said at the course during the fundraiser yesterday. That's kind of out of my range of things. All I can do is make a call and see what happens. And insert Brian Windhorst meme, right? Make a call, see what happens. I know I'm reading too much into that. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and he's just trying to tee off at the course. But is Deshaun Watson hinting at something here, right? Are the Browns doing more than just, I don't know, looking at his stats, watching our videos to figure out they want to add D-Hop? Hopkins picked up a new agent, Clutch Sports, who represents a lot of Browns players. So maybe that signals that Andrew Berry will have a good relationship with D-Hop's agent to get a contract finalized. Now, more from Schefter's podcast that I thought was pretty important. I think the public is a lot more interested in DeAndre Hopkins than NFL teams are interested. And I can't really blame NFL GMs for feeling that way just because D-Hop has not been a 1,000-yard receiver for 2 straight seasons. He has not played a full season, and last year with a PED suspension, we know why, but he's, smooth sailing to hopefully play a full season barring any injuries, which for the most part has not been a major element of his career. If he's back to playing 16, 17 games, I see no reason why he can't be a 1,200-yard receiver with, I don't know, somewhere between 6 to 10 touchdowns this season. So I can see why there might be some hesitancy from GMs to throw D-Hop, not just a contract, but a big contract, right? Somewhere between $15 to $20 million. If you give him, say, an average of $17 million for like 2 seasons, that's a good amount of change for a guy for the last 2 seasons, has not been a 1,000-yard receiver, but there is reason to believe he can get back to the top of the mountain once he's back to playing a full season. Before we get on out of here, we got a whole bunch of new subscribers over the last couple of weeks or so. So I just want to know where everyone's tuning in from. Shout out your city. We always spend so much time talking about whatever the current news and rumors is and getting your thoughts on that. But I want to kind of give back to the dog pound here. So let me know where you are tuning in from. Shout out your city down below in the comment section. Before we really sign off and I get in the car and go to the airport for my wedding in Salt Lake City, Park City this weekend. So a bunch of videos coming out. Don't worry, I take care of you guys. In case anything gets dated, you know why. All this is being filmed essentially on Wednesday, May 31st or beforehand. But hey, pick a card time. I've rambled on long enough. Rolly, what's your card?
Going King of Hearts.
King of Hearts. I like that. You know what I mean?
I love that card.
You went for the jugular right there.
I did. I went for the home run.
You could have kind of pussied out with like a 6 of spades or something.
We're going for the King of Hearts.
King of Hearts? Okay.
And you know what?
I'll match that. Queen of Hearts.
I love it.
Yep. King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts. Here we go. One last cut.
Come on. One time for the culture.
King of Diamonds.
No.
Yes.
No.
King of Diamonds.
Dude, I almost went with King of Diamonds.
That is brutal. That might be the closest miss we've had.
I came in today and I said I was going with a king no matter what. I just had to pick the suit. Red was speaking to me.
I liked it.
And
you were
missed
there.
It. Oh, that is just devastating.
That's tough. All right, we're going to sign off. We'll catch up with everyone later. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, making us a part of your day. Go Browns.